Treat people like dogs if you want to get ahead in your career, in your personal relationships, and even if you want to become the better you. I know it sounds awful when I put it like this, but I've been in personal development for over 15 years. And what I'm going to share with you in this video is one of the most powerful concepts in human psychology. And ironically, it is also the same principle that applies to dogs as well. So first things first, why do we do certain things? We do it because of two main reasons. We have reward and we have punishment. Whatever we do that gets rewarded, that's something that we tend to repeat. When we do something that gets punished, we tend to avoid it. So if I put my hand on a hot stove, I burn it, it pains, it's painful. I will not try to do that again. If I showcase a certain behavior at my work and I get praise for it, I want to repeat what I did to get even more praise, to get even more rewards. That's how our psychology works. But to really get clear on this, we need to go into dog training mode. So over here we have our four-legged friend. It has a nose and it's even got a tip. By the way, this is a dog. Yes, I am in personal development. No, I'm not a good artist. So over here you have a timeline. And training a dog works in 3 stages. You have your ask. This is where you would say to the dog, go and sit down. Then you're going to observe the behavior. You're going to see what happens. Does the dog sit? Does the dog not sit? And then if you have the right behavior, so if this is a check mark, you then go and reward the dog. And then what you do is you repeat this cycle. That's how you train the dog. But here's the important part. It is on this area right here. Because if the dog sits down and you immediately go to the reward, the dog is going to learn. And the next time you ask it to sit, it is more likely to do it. And the more you reinforce this cycle of sit down, the dog sits, you reward it with some cookie or some treat or whatever, the more likely you are to reinforce this cycle of when I ask sit, the dog is going to sit. That's what you want. And at some point, you don't need to reward anymore because the command is so ingrained. For humans, it is the same damn behavior. So let's apply this concept to not a dog, but we have a person here, aka a human dog. So first of all, let me do this bonus one, because this also works in YouTube videos. And the fact that you're here means that it actually works on you as well. Because I made a thumbnail and I made a title that basically invites you to click on it and to watch this video. So that is my ask. I saw the behavior, which is that you clicked on it and that you're watching this video right now. But now what I need to do is I need to reward you. If you clicked on this video and I didn't talk about this concept of treating people like dogs, if this wasn't entertaining, if this wasn't informative to you, you would never watch another video of mine. Then you clicking on the video would be a punishment. If you didn't get anything out of this, you would never watch another video of mine. So what I do is I create my ask, my titles, my thumbnails, which I'm not great at. But that's my ask. And once you show the behavior of watching this video, I reward you. It is that simple. And by the way, if you're still watching this, give this video a quick thumbs up. Really appreciate it. And it really helps me train more people in my audience, just like dogs, just like you've been. Right? And now the YouTube game becomes a cycle of getting more people to click on the thumbnails and then delighting more people with my content. So how do you do this on your job? The first thing where most people go wrong is this stage. Because there's so many things you need from other people, from other departments. But so many people are ineffective in asking. So the first thing you need to do whenever you need to have something done from someone else, ask what you need. And most importantly, when you do, tell people why you need it. A study has been done by, I believe it was Harvard, like one of the Ivy Leagues at least, where they did an experiment where they asked someone if they could use the printer in front of them. So basically, can I please skip the queue because I'm in a hurry? That's the idea. Now they did 3 or 4 variants of this. On one part they said, hey, can I please use the printer in front of you? And the second one they said, can I please use the printer in front of you because I need to make some copies? The third example, they said, hey, can I please use the printer in front of you because I'm in a hurry for class and I need to print off this presentation. So 3 different things. What I found was that the least amount of people would allow the request when there was no reason given. But even a stupid reason that makes no sense at all, of hey, can I use the copier because I need to make copies? Even as something as logical as that almost doubled the amount of people who said yes. And then if you want to really skyrocket this to, I believe it was like 80 or 90% of people who said yes, versus like 30% in the initial case, is to give them a compelling reason why. So, for example, if you need a report from John, because it's helpful to you in your job, you say, hey John, can you get me that report by the end of the day? Because this really helps us get a better insight into our clients so that we can then sell more units, right? That's giving a reason. Then John is either gonna basically comply. So do you get what you want? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, what you're gonna do is you're gonna immediately go to this reward phase. And this doesn't have to be complicated. Like, you don't have to have some dog biscuits and you throw it to John, right? You're not going to do that at the workplace. Although, if you do, please send me the video. It's going to be hilarious. But what you're going to do is you're going to send an email or a message on Teams or whatever you use. Hey, John, thank you very much for getting the report. This really helps with X, Y, and Z. So what you would do with this is you would get specific as to why his behavior that you observed is helpful. And when you do, John is gonna feel so much better because he just got praise. He got acknowledgement. He got a, John, you're doing a great damn job. How many times have you been on your job at work where you don't get any recognition at all? To management, it seems like you are just invisible, right? You don't exist. By doing this, you can create this reward cycle for your own colleagues. And guess what? If you've done this once or twice, the next time you go to John and you say, hey, I need some help with this, can you do that? It is more likely to happen. Because on one hand, you and John got closer. Because if someone does something for you, a request, without even realizing it, they become closer to you. This is, I believe, the Benjamin Franklin effect. I can be wrong about the name, but that's what it is. And at the same time, because John got rewarded in the past, he's more likely to repeat the same actions now. So you're more likely to see this yes, where John does what you ask him. Then if it's no, you would be like, you're not going to be an asshole, right? That's the first way to make sure that you get nothing at all done from anyone. But you gotta kindly say, hey, John, I asked for this. Could you please get to it? And you're gonna reinforce the same reason or another reason why it is important. And by the way, if you want to put this on steroids, when you go for your reward, when you send the email to Johnny, hey, this is what we were able to do because of your help. Just CC that manager. right? You don't need to say like, hey, you need to do anything with this email. But now John gets the recognition not just from you, but he also sees that you highlighted his accomplishments to someone above him. And when you apply this, you will get more done from people around you. You will have better relationships at work, and all of you can grow together. So that's this part out of the way. How do you apply this to your relationships? Tell me if this sounds familiar. You're in a relationship with someone, a personal relationship. And at some point, like things don't go well. And she starts nagging. She starts saying like, oh, you never do this, you never do this, you never do this. What is the typical response? You would immediately usually go to apologize, to grovel, to do whatever, to pray to God that it doesn't escalate any further, right? You have reinforced a negative behavior. Because the truth of the matter is, this can be both good and bad. Because the rule is that you train people how to treat you. So when it comes to personal relationships, let me give you an example of this. Back when I was like 17, 18, until my mid-20s, I would say yes to everything. Because I had been bullied and I wanted to fit in with people. And my thought process subconsciously was that, hey, if someone asks something of me, I will say yes. Because I need their approval. I need them to like me. And so I said yes to everything. And where this went wrong, one area, would be with refereeing some games for the sport I play. Sometimes people didn't want to do it, or they couldn't, and I needed to find a replacement. Who do you think they turned to? They turned to me. Because they knew that I won't say no. For example, with other people, they would ask, and the answer would oftentimes be no. Sorry, I can't make it, or I already have some plans. Sorry, I can't do it. When they asked me, almost all the time the answer was yes. So what does that tell them? They tell that, hey, if I need to have a match and I need to have a replacement referee, if I ask Michael, the answer will always be yes, and it's very easy for me. And so I trained people to repeat this cycle to the point where sometimes I would play one match myself, I would coach a match, which I loved, but then I would also referee like 2 or 3 matches on the same day. And almost every week I would referee at least 1 match. Whereas some other people, they would referee maybe like 1 in a month or in 2 months even. All because I didn't know how to say no. So in your relationships, you reinforce a certain behavior from the people around you through your own actions. So let's go back to that example of you with your girlfriend or your spouse. If she has a certain behavior, and we'll actually change this a little bit. Behavior, let's go B. So in this case, she starts yelling at you because you did something wrong. You get a response. And then it is judged of, like, is this a good thing for me or a bad thing? So the result. That's terrible. So with this, she starts yelling at you. You go apologize. You go maybe buy flowers. You buy some other gifts to make up for it. And that has a result for her. In this case, she learns the lesson that if I'm acting up, that if I'm starting to yell at you, right? At Max, whatever. If I start to yell at Max, he's gonna apologize. He's gonna say he's wrong. He's gonna buy me flowers. He's gonna treat me to dinner. And that's the result she gets. So she knows that next time something is up, she can just repeat this behavior of, I start yelling, I get stuff. He apologizes. He agrees with me. So instead of this behavior, which I don't think you want, how you would use this principle of teaching people just like you would teach a dog would be to just step back. Don't engage with it. Say like, hey, look, hon, Emotions are high right now. Let's just each go for a 15-minute walk and then we can talk about this. So what you do is you take the same behavior of I start yelling, but now she doesn't get the reward over here. She doesn't get that. And now it's like, okay, so she knows that if she starts yelling, she's not going to get to an outcome that she really wants. So next time, she is more likely to remain calm. And what you would do afterwards, after like the walk, you would calmly talk it over. Hey, this is how you made me feel. This is how I made you feel. And now you can, resolve the issue. And hopefully, when you get out of it better, that's a positive result. And what happens now is that both you and her, you learn the lesson that, hey, if we just stay calm, if we talk about this in a better manner, we will get to a better outcome where we both feel better about this instance. Do you see the point of how this works? If you do, give this video a quick thumbs up and send this video to someone who really needs to understand this principle, because it helps them tremendously. So, going back to this cycle here, what I did at some point was that I started to say no. And now, sometimes I would say yes, sometimes I would say no. And now I'm not reinforcing this automatic cycle of Maikel's gonna do anything. And now the more I said no, the less people would actually expect of me. So you can always change how people treat you through what you accept, what you don't accept, what you say yes to, what you say no to. And the good thing is that when you say, like, no, I'm not going to do this. This is a bridge too far. This goes against my principles. If someone tries to make you do something that you don't agree with, or to have you agree in an argument with something that you absolutely don't agree with. Once you say no over here and you draw a line, people will also respect your yeses more, because they know it's something that you want to do or want to do for them. Because if you say yes to everything, it starts becoming meaningless. If you say yes to some things, no to other things, now it's like, Maikel at least is thinking about this. He has principles. He has some values by which he judges things. And they will respect you more for it. So I think with that said, that's this personal relationships part out of the way. Now let's erase some things here and go into the most important factor, which is how to use this to become a better version of yourself. There we go. We still have the same principles here. You first ask. You ask something of yourself. So if you want to get in better shape, you tell yourself, I'm going to go to the gym. Then you've got your behavior. And then you've got your reward. Now, I said that this was related to dopamine. Because dopamine is the hormone of more. It's not just a reward hormone. It has also to do with motivation. Because back in prehistoric times, how this would work is you would go and explore. That's the thing that your tribe wanted you to do, that you wanted you to do. Because national curiosity. Maybe with this behavior of exploring, you got to a fruit tree, maybe an apple tree, right? You got nutrition. And now you went back to your tribe and you say, hey, look, I went to this route. I did this, I did this, I did this. I went over there. And now I've got this bowl of apples. And everyone's like, oh my God, Maikel, so great. Now we have food. And because of that, your brain gave dopamine. And as a result of that, what happened was that this pattern of going from your tribe to the apple tree became ingrained in your mind. Where does this go wrong in modern times? Most of the time, if you want to get fit, for example, the reward is not instant. Right? You go to the gym now, and tomorrow, and the day after that, and next week, and the week after that, and the month after that, and maybe after 50 or 100 times, you start noticing damn, I'm in much better shape. So the reward over here is all the way there. And in reality, I would need like 17 more whiteboards in that direction to highlight the timeline in which you get the reward. For our mind, that is not a pleasant experience because we want things now. Part of that is because of the present bias. So everything, all the rewards in the future get discounted. So if the reward of getting in shape is this in reality, because it's far in the future, your mind is basically going to say it's like this. So this is the reward. But the effort, what you need to do, is in the present moment. So if the effort is like this in reality, because it's right here, right now, in the present moment, what your mind does is it feels like this. Now you've got a problem. Because the actual effort and the actual reward, you would look at this and you would say, it is well worth the effort to go and exercise. But the way your mind sees it, so perceived, is like this. And now I've got a terrible handwriting. And now because your mind perceives the action of going to the gym as way more painful than the rewards, you won't take action a lot of the times. This is where procrastination comes from. It is because the rewards are so far out there that way into the future that they don't really excite you, they don't motivate you, and they don't create this reinforcing cycle. So what can you do here? One of the things you can do is you can immediately reward yourself with something. So you would literally like give yourself the bone in this example, right? But this is also dangerous. Because if you say, once I go to the gym, then I can have a cookie, or then I can have some chips, or some ice cream, or extra dessert. Now your mind says, wait a moment. I don't like this type of stuff here of going to the gym. So let's just skip right there to there. And so you just go for the ice cream immediately. So one thing that I use myself as a dopamine hack is whenever I'm at the gym, what I would tell myself is, hey, I'm doing great here. It's hard, it's difficult, and I love that. Because it makes me a fitter person. Because it makes me a better person. What I would do is I would mentally link my actions to the reward I will get in the future. So the closer you can link these together, the closer you can feel, I'm doing this because of X, Y, and Z. Again, I erased it, but knowing your reason why you are doing something. The closer you can link your action to the reward in the future, the more closely you can visualize this in your mind. I am not a fan of things like the law of attraction or visualization. I don't like that. But in this case, when you can see yourself going from the behavior to getting the result in your mind, the more you can ingrain that, the more you start this reinforcing cycle. And once you apply this, you will bring your goals closer to you. It is no longer this huge, far away goal. You bring it way closer. And because you bring it way closer, it feels way more achievable. And one other hack I'll give with you is if you're looking all the way out there in the distance towards your goal, don't forget to occasionally look back. Because if you were here before and you've taken a few steps forward, guess what? You are a few more steps ahead than where you were before. And it is this comparison, not just to your goal, but also to how far you've already come, that creates motivation. Because that comes from progress. When you can see, oh my God, I used to be 30 pounds overweight, and now I'm 28 pounds overweight. You can see like, oh my God, that's so far away. But you can also say, hey, I lost 2 pounds. And the latter, once you can see progress, it starts to create this reinforcing cycle. You start training yourself just like a dog to show the right behavior. And the more you do it, the more you repeat this cycle, the easier it becomes. And with that said, I think that this is the tick here. But you can make this 10 times easier for yourself as well. And if you want to learn how to do just that, click that video next because it's going to teach you 5 ways to get more done and to reinforce the right behavior without the need of more discipline or willpower.